Hello, and thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Soraya Marshall Wright. Welcome to The World According to Soraya. For those of you who do not know, I'm an estate planning attorney in South Carolina, and I help seniors and families with special needs plan for the unexpected and protect their valuables. All right, so we are in the month of October, and last week I told you that it is Special Needs Law Month as well as Disabled Workers Month, and promised to bring tips that would be relevant and helpful to those with special needs and their families, as well as disabled workers. Today happens to be World Mental Health Awareness Day. So I actually want to take today to get a little personal. The tip that I'm going to share is not necessarily conventional, not the type of tip that I would normally share through this forum, but I think it's necessary. The whole purpose really of World Mental Health Awareness Day is to overall stop some of the negative stigma that's associated with mental health, and hopefully encourage those who are suffering from mental health to get the help that they actually need. So I want to talk about me a little bit. Roughly 9 years or so ago, I remember going to my primary care doctor, and after sharing some of the symptoms that I was experiencing with her, she told me something that I wasn't necessarily ready to admit, or at least had not admitted to myself out loud. She told me that I was severely depressed. And at the time, she recommended that I start taking a popular antidepressant drug. Didn't necessarily sit right with me. I didn't entirely feel comfortable with the idea, but at the time I was just so down and out that I was willing to try something to help. And after actually getting the prescription and deciding that I was going to start taking it, I remember sharing this with someone at the time I considered to be a close friend. And the person said to me, "Why are you taking that? You're not a crazy person. You don't need that. You honestly just need to get your life together and need to get closer to God and just start praying and just get it together." And I think I took that advice to heart, and I said, you know what? Forget what my doctor, who's a medical professional, says. I'm gonna listen to you, friend, and I'm going to stop taking my medication. Because the people that we trust or think have our best interests at heart, sometimes we take their advice above professionals, and that's what I chose to do. But praying didn't do away with the struggles that I was facing with. I knew deep down inside that it wasn't something I could fix on my own, but I still chose to ignore my doctor's advice because I didn't want to be viewed as someone who's crazy. And what did I end up doing instead? Just choosing unhealthy but more socially acceptable alternatives to deal with these issues. And it wasn't until I visited my doctor again, maybe a year or so later, and she asked me, "Are you doing any better?" And I explained that I really wasn't. And I confessed that I really wasn't taking the medication. And she said something that was very important to me, and it changed my life. She said, "If you were a diabetic, would you take insulin to regulate your blood sugar levels?" And I said, "Well, yeah, of course I would." And she said, "Well, it's the same thing with this type of medication. It's no different. If you have some type of imbalance in your brain and this medication is going to help you, that's what you're doing. You're taking care of your health. That's what it's all about." And at that moment, I decided that it actually made sense to follow a professional's advice, and it actually made sense to start taking medication. And it helped me significantly, and it helped me stay on track. I wanted to share this story because I want to help stop the stigma, the negative stigma that's often associated with mental health. If you or someone you know is suffering from depression, anxiety, or another type of mental health issue, please follow a professional's advice. If you aren't the person suffering and someone confides in you, please do not make them feel like a crazy person. Taking care of our health, mental or physical, should never be a bad thing. And I hope that those who need the help will seek it, and those who should support them will continue to support them. All right? So, if you didn't know that taking care of your mental health is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, and in fact, you won't be able to function through life unless you do, now you know. And I'll see you next time.